8 things those successful job-landed UX students have from a design mentor's observation. Yes, this topic is about what I've learned from some students who I helped for a few years, and all of them successfully landed a design job. Some of them are really got some great title from some large companies. Some people got some beginner's job from small companies, but they all successfully landed their first job and transitioned from a previous role, which is, I think, is awesome. So I observed some of their patterns are the same. So that's what I want to share from this article. I will share the link in this description of this video below. But yeah, now let's just walk through them. So yeah, a few months ago, I received a message that showed me that another student got a job offer. So in the last 1 or 2 years, I helped more than 10 design students to land their job, and I observed some similar patterns. So here are 8 of them. First, they knew and use their unfair advantages. So this is the biggest part, that for anyone who's learning design, you might already have some great competencies from your previous job or from what you already got. And your job as a designer, the first job as a designer, even when you just started learning, is to find a connection between your previous experience to the dream job and find something you can use. And that's what I mean unfair advantages. For example, I'm a Chinese native speaker. So Chinese is my native language. And if I want to get a design job opportunity, speaking Chinese could be my unfair advantage if I want to compete with other people who want to get the same job in Chinese market, right? So this is about to find those unfair advantages. So for example, a mentee that I'm helped is good at focus on consuming lots of information in a short time. So she got a research job. Another mentee used her sales skills. So before learning design, she was a salesperson, and then she used her sales skills to negotiate and get a designer's contract and then get a full-time job. So which I think is really awesome. So find those connections. If you are a teacher, you're probably good at leading people. If you are a salesperson, you're probably good at persuade people. And if you are for example, an architect, you're probably good at strategy thinking. So find those connections and find those things that you are really good at and take advantage of it. Second, they all have working experience. So this could be a harsh truth for UX roles. If you just graduated from any school, it's probably hard to find your first job, and especially UX job, because UX is about solving complex problems with a team, and people with previous working experience are more likely to be hired. What about if you're just graduated and don't have any working experience? I would suggest to get some experience at first. Get an internship, volunteering on things, or do some side project. So yeah, anything. Just try to get some real world experience as soon as possible. And if you can do that before looking for a job, that will be a really solid step between your current stage and your dream job stage. The third findings is they all failed a few times. So this is not a secret, right? So you cannot get a job once you submit only one application, right? It cannot happen. You might fail a lot of times, and I have to say that some of those students who actually just started as at first as a freelancer or as a contractor, and then started to find a better job later. So that one opportunity can guide you to another one. So yeah, be sure you're ready for some falling, for some rejections, but that will happen, and you are going to get used to it, and it's good for you for the long term. Yeah, personally, I also got a lot of rejections when I started to be a UX designer at first. Right, the fourth tips, they're all good at communication. It's not about extrovert or introvert, and it's not even about native speakers or non-native speakers. So communication is a really essential for designers, actually for any types of professionals. This is really one of the fundamentals that you want to really good at. I would suggest to find some different ways for your communication. You can improve things like listening, speaking, right? If you're not a native speaker like myself, you can learn and get used to and improve it for sure. But also you can try to find some ways that you are good at and try to take the advantage at it. For example, if you're good at drawing, if you're a visual person, great. You probably can do some sketches or use photos to describe what you feel and deliver the message. If you're good at telling stories, great, that will be awesome. You could be a storyteller. And if you're good at facilitate workshop or discussions with other people, yeah, use that for communication. So really on this part, like take the ownership of your communication and really improve it. And yeah, the fifth point, they all have a mentor. And as a reminder, mentor is not a teacher. So this is especially important for junior designer because you don't know what you don't know, and you don't know if you're doing things right or wrong. And it would be really good to get a mentor to help you. And now you can find mentors using social media, and thanks for COVID, now people get used to be reached out or to reach out people. If you haven't got a chance to meet them in person, that's okay. So yeah, I would suggest to find a local or a mentor and check with her or him regularly about your progress. So it's more like a coach, right? So try to find that person. And number 6, they learn design by doing it. So all those people that who successfully landed a job, they are doing things by learning things by doing it. And yeah, that's what I feel is really common. And also, after you complete a project, you will have some learnings, and it will be a good story to share. So make sure you spend some time to practice things, not only to learn the theory, but more importantly, really build things, really try to do something and use it as an example to share a design process, design progress. Right, okay. Number 7, they didn't complain. Right, so those are the students I find really interesting because, yeah, a lot of things happened during their journey. And to be honest, it's really a long journey from the moment you started to learn design and the moment you got an offer. It's not a short journey. It could be months or even with a few years. And there are definitely ups and downs, but I don't see those people who success at last, they complained or they just say, oh, they find excuses. So they didn't complain. They just find, oh, this is something I didn't do well. I'll try to improve it. Now I'm frustrated that I didn't do well, but nothing to be complained because I'm taking the ownership of the whole journey, and I'm sure I can improve later. So those are the mindsets that they have, and I'm really happy to see this is the right attitude and highly recommend. All right, so the last point, they deal with constraints well. So this part is, as a realistic situation, everyone will have limitation and constraints. For example, if you are learning design on your free time, you probably don't have too much time on learning as a full-time student, right? And if you, like myself, at the beginning you are not a native speaker, you probably struggled on understanding the knowledge from another language, right? So those are the things, and you probably take slow step to learn things. So those are the things as your constraint, and try to design a way to deal with those constraints. And even better, if you can find a good way to turn those constraints into opportunities, that could be better. I think I can take myself as an example, because at the beginning, when I started to learn UX, and I take much slower progress because language is hard. Right, I think I lost my video. Let me rewind it again and to see if it works. Okay, it works. Cool, now I'm back. It happened again. It happened before, so yeah. Right, and let's get started again. So take myself, for example. At first, when I started to learn design in English, the progress is much slower than now, because my reading speed and listening speed is take more time to consume those content. And then I started to practice listening with some intention, and then I started to practice listening with faster speed. And now I can easily listening any non-fictional content in 1.5 speed, so that it can help me to consume more knowledge than I used to be. And this is more like turning my limitation into an opportunity. But you got my point. So yeah, those are the 8 tips. Let's read it one more time as a wrap up. Those students, those successful job landers, they knew to use their unfair advantage. They all have working experience. They all failed a few times. They're all good at communication, and they all have a mentor, and they learn design by doing it. And they didn't complain, and they deal with constraints well. So I hope that helpful, and if it's can inspire you on doing something good, do let me know. I'm keen to know your progress. But yeah, that's the second thing I want to share with you today, the 8 tips for successful job lander.